All right, good morning, everyone. Tradingology.com trading room for February 9th. Good to see you guys this week. We'll get the doors opened up here and see what's going on in this crazy world. February 9th, and as always, we have our best friend Dave joining us from the Strong Market team. So good morning, Dave. Good to see you on the Tuesday. Well, everybody get mic'd up here. Looking like
Yes, good morning, everybody.
Hey, there's Dave. How's it going, buddy?
Good.
All right. Andre, good to see you. Good morning. Get my chat open so I can see you guys. Mark's here too. Good morning, Mark. Mark can't hear me yet, though. He'll be back. All right. Take a quick look at our internals here. I see an interesting thing too I want to ask you about quick here, Dave, is we are in the negatives on our internals on both volume and issues. So that's kind of a bearish sentiment that doesn't bode well, but we have, the tech is just going crazy, right? NQ's through the roof. It's just a stair to heaven here. Looks like we might be hitting some resistance here. We're at an all-time high, just hit it about 15 minutes ago. But I was looking at the major index on the NDX on the Dow side. Obviously, we know everything is fully bullish right now on the NDX, right? But look at the Dow. We have some bearish creeping in on our balance of power.
Yeah.
And we are
negative. Interesting. We haven't seen really any kind of bearishness at all. And this is actually probably the first time in a long time that we've had the up and down volume negative and the issues negative.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the first time in, I think, 7 trading days at least, because the market's just been on a tear for like 6 straight days, or it's up like 1,400 some points, 1,500 points. So we don't have the 1,000-point days yet.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, this is an interesting one where we're negative on SD and ST on the Dow side. So the New York Stock Exchange is negative compared to the NASDAQ and the NDX are still positive. And we see that downturn in both the MT oscillator here starting to creep down, and on the SPY as well. Obviously, those use the same underlying internals, but something to keep an eye on, you guys. If everyone's buying the dip and riding the train higher, be wary when the bears start coming in. It's nothing that we're going to get a major drop right now, but I just want to keep your attention on it and make sure you're not missing out on that.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking for that day where we're up like a couple hundred points, but we've got some negative internals. That would be a pretty good sign, I think, that things are starting to turn around. Look, I mean, hey, you can't argue with this market. It just keeps going up. It's just absolutely incredible. It's resilient. It's Teflon. But you know what? At some point, I mean, it gets to the point where it's getting ridiculous, that there's no pullback since last March. Really no substantial pullback. And when you look at a really long-term chart, we have not had a huge decline in the market except for 2008, 2009 since 1982. So we've had one bear market in how many years is that? 28 years? 30 years almost?
Yeah, creeping up on 30.
Wow. Something's wrong. Something is definitely wrong in the house of the Fed.
And I noticed this morning, not only does the Fed make everything up, but now Biden's talking with Yellen and the CEOs to say, well, what should we do next, guys? Walmart's in there, Gap's in there, JP Morgan. They're talking about stimulus. Sounds like they're even that much closer to that. CNN's talking about Trump, it looks like, and the defense on the impeachment trial. That'll probably be one of the fastest ones ever. Yeah, now Biden's warming to the fast track. When was he not warm to it?
Yeah, I mean, that was like first on his agenda.
And nothing, let's see, yesterday we didn't have any major outlying, no, that's today. Monday was none. Okay.
Yeah, there's no major economic announcements yesterday at all. Quiet day.
So that's the quick news lately. Yes, good morning, BD too. BD made it in here. Andre's here as always. We always welcome you, Andre.
Good morning, Andre. Morning, BD. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting. We did have a little bit of a downturn in the DXY. but it's holding at 90, 50-ish area, which is really, really important. Also kind of interesting is we got a little bit of a turn in the bonds. So interest rates went from, on the 30-year, went from 1.99%, almost hit that 2%, and we started coming down. We're at 1.92 now. TLT is up a little bit this morning. So, you know, is that reflation trade over? Is that inflation trade over? I heard a very, very interesting comment from a Hershey executive being interviewed on CNBC. She said that one of the questions asked her was whether or not she saw cocoa prices, sugar, and other commodities that she's buying in order to make the Hershey's chocolate bars and other products they make higher. And she said, no, those prices are not higher. We're paying the same prices now that we did a year ago. And so she saw absolutely no inflation on those prices. And so the interviewer said, well, you know, we know prices are a little bit higher across the board. Where's the price increase coming from? And she said, it's the cost of shipping.
Interesting. So not making it, but moving it.
Yeah, they're the movement, the shipping, the containers, the movement of those goods and services and commodities are raising the price of the commodities, not the commodities themselves, but the final cost to the consumer. And it's not the commodities themselves. So that also indicates that there's potentially not the inflation that we're actually seeing in the prices on the consumer's end, but it's the shipping, which is adding to the cost to get those to the market.
And it's half the shipping too, and just the storage, right? We see so many reports of storage containers outside of harbors and out just floating in sea, kind of waiting a sea version of the holding pattern, right? For the airplane circling, the freighters are circling. That's the shipping and now the holding.
Yep. And there's a lack of containers. So the lack of containers is also adding to the cost because people are bidding for those containers in order to get their products shipped. The manufacturers and wholesalers need those containers, so they're bidding up the prices on those. And from what I heard, there's like 2,000 containers short worldwide, and that's like a big constraint on shipping. And that's why the shipping costs are going up a lot. In order to get a spot in a container, you got to bid up the price on it. BD says, just listen to an interview with Harry Dent at Kitco, who said there will be no inflation but deflation. Market crashed 40% in April. Kind of like the way he thinks.
He's selling his book for 2021. Harry Dent's good stuff. I like watching him.
Always opinionated, always has some good comments. That's a good one, though. Yeah, I don't think there's any inflation out there, guys. I think we're going to have one more, just like we talked about in the Wealth Masterclass. I think there's going to be one more deflationary shock. Once we get out of that, commodities are the way to go.
Well, and half the problem with measuring inflation too is they keep changing the rules on how they measure it. So they make the numbers say whatever they want it to. Well, we're here to control inflation. Well, suddenly this goes up. Well, we're not going to put that in our equation anymore. That's no longer valid for their rules. So when you're when you change the rules, you can make inflation say whatever you want.
Absolutely. I think you need to do your own research. I wouldn't trust the government's statistic.
Yeah, right. Their version of CPI is not reality.
No, not at all. And I don't know if you've been to the grocery store lately, but I was in the grocery store like a couple times last week. And actually I started noticing it a few months ago. If you go to the spice aisle, spices are really hard to come by.
Yeah.
I noticed
that a few weeks ago too as well.
I was looking for some spices. All of a sudden, they are not restocking those shelves, and I'm wondering if that's part of the constraints because I'm not sure. I don't know anything about the spice market, but I think a lot of it comes from Asia, India, places like that.
Well, it's where it all started way back in the day, right? That's how Columbus tripped into America trying to run spices down to the other side of the world, and the current took them the wrong way.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's absolutely right.
It's all about the spice.
I mean, just a small bottle of I mean, you can name whatever spice you're interested in. Like thyme. I was using thyme in a beef recipe, and I mean, it's like $6 for a little tiny bottle like that.
And if you're lucky if it's even on the shelf.
If it's on the shelf, that's right.
The other thing that I noticed, just everyday life is driving around, gas definitely jumped in my neighborhood about 20, 30 cents a gallon. That's one thing that most people look at the day of life is, are things costing me more? I always looked at the gallon of milk and a gallon of gas. And when those go up, that was my version of inflation because it cost me more to feed the family and
Yeah,
drive
that's
around.
absolutely true. Yeah, that is true. Gas and milk. Yeah, you're right. That was a measurement that we used to use back in the 70s when inflation was really, really a thing.
Yep.
But we'll probably see both of those come down as we get into this deflationary, this last kind of dip like we saw last March 2020. We saw oil go negative. That was deflationary. We had a rebound from there, but I think we're going to start rolling over. I don't know when it's going to come. That's the one thing I don't know when it's going to come. All I know is it is coming. And so one of the things we have to start thinking about is how we're going to protect the downside of the portfolio, how are we going to hedge that kind of risk? You probably noticed over the last week that even though the market has gone up, volatility has not gone down. It's really kind of stayed the same. And so we closed out one of our VXX trades and we noticed that we didn't have much profit on it. You showed the screenshot of like a $21 profit. It's because the VIX has not gone down. But one of the things that you have to kind of think about is all of the call and put buyers in the market. Retail traders are buying calls and puts like crazy. They're looking for leverage any place they can get it. And the VIX does not just measure the price of puts, it measures the premiums on both calls and puts. And when those premiums go up because people are bidding them up, then prices are going to go higher and it's going to affect the VIX. So the VIX could stay high relative to option prices, which would normally happen in a decline in a market that's going up. The volatility has remained pretty high. I'm going to put a chart here in the Slack channel, and if you could bring it up, that'd be great. Kind of illustrates my point here.
Welcome, Asham. I see Asham joining us, so good to see you, my friend. BD says, are you going to be able to post an update on the, I haven't updated the spreadsheet personally, but I can definitely get the best I can, BD, in there. I think there has been a few questions. So yeah, look for that in the VXX channel for the table. At the end of the day, it's one of those helpful tools to learn it, but it's not something that we lean on to leverage the trade, but we know a lot of people do like it for learning. So we'll try and get that back out there for you. Good morning, Asham. All right, I see you got the link over here. Let me grab it.
Yeah, this is a little crazy. This is from Elliott Wave International. They posted this in their last issue of the Elliott Wave Financial Forecast. And you can see that the call premium, small traders are buying calls like crazy to open, but the premiums on those calls, because they're being bid up so quickly. Typically, the premium is like maybe, $5. Well, I'm not sure how they do the measurement here. Is price per billion? I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly.
I got a price per small b, so.
Yeah. Let me see if I can look in the issue and see if they specify that.
Yeah, down here we have from 2000 to 2020, so coming into the early part of 21, and here we got a range of 3,500 for the top for the SPY here, or the S&P. So that's the range that we're looking at. From 2000, we got the two peaks, the dot-com bust and then the GFC. Then they're comparing, looks like 1918, 17. So yeah, 2017, they have an arrow called out here when this last peak was, and then comparing that to now. So if you see any
yeah, I know it's absolutely insane that the premiums on So the average premium is $5. It's now up to $44.
$44 and
$44. So it's what is that? An 8,000% increase
might be time to start looking at iron condors again.
or 800%, 800%, I think.
This
Yeah, I know.
premium.
Yeah, the only problem is it's already high. So even if you sold iron condors, if we get a decline in the market, those premiums are going to go even higher.
That's the trouble, is when there's too much volatility, those don't work. That's the nice even ranging strategy where you can let it ride for a couple weeks and then everything just sucks out of it.
Right, exactly. So it's just it's a little bit crazy. So you're paying 8 times. A normal call option might be $5, you know, going back to 2007 even, and that was high. And then now we're at 44. So I mean, it doesn't matter what the price is. I guess they don't really consider that the time premium that you're paying is 8 times more than normal. They just want the alpha, right? They just want the alpha, and they'll pay any price.
Well, and is this a factor of all the stimulus and all the money creation? I saw a stat that 2020 had, was it 20 or 40% of all money that was created happened last year?
Yeah, I saw that too. That's pretty crazy.
And so where that has to go somewhere, and we know a lot of it's went into the stock market, obviously, and that's most likely part of the underlying causation here of what's causing this, because everyone's just buying calls because don't fight the Fed, right? And it just keeps going up. Buy the dip is ingrained in everyone until, you know, everything works until it doesn't. And it's going to be a rude awakening when it doesn't, because just zooming in on this little area, going back to the early part of 2020, that's obviously when the pandemic started. Look at how small that looks compared to the previous ones. And
yeah, it's just a blip really in the road.
So when this correction actually happens, if and when it does, it's going to make these look interesting.
Yeah.
That's why I keep looking for the signs and warning you guys in these videos. You know, I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news all the time, but it's just like, yeah, this is not normal and this is not going to last. It can't.
Yeah. I think we really got to pay attention to this, because if we do get a decline in the market, I think it's going to be like falling off a cliff. People will not even see it coming. It'll just drop like a rock, and it's not going to bounce this time. I think there's really a lot of systemic problems. There's also a great article, and I think in the Slack channel, I also put it out on the for all of the
all about the fragile.
Yeah, the fragile market. Yeah, that was a great article. So if you guys haven't seen that, go in the chat. I think I put it in gold and I put it in the Tradingology chat room. Very, very, very good article.
Yes.
Basically, nobody's short. Nobody's short the market. And what happens is when there's nobody short, the reason why a lot of stocks, when they drop, start to rebound again is because people are covering their shorts. Now, everybody's afraid because of GME, AMC, costs, all of the other stocks that got goosed by retail traders who did a fantastic job picking out these shorts, these heavily shorted stocks. They've gone up, but hedge funds have really backed off of shorting anything now. And so nobody's short. And so that's a really, really good article. That was one of the things I noticed. And you know, Chairman Powell has made public statements before he became Chair Powell, that he was a little worried that the Fed was actually goosing the markets and getting retail traders into speculative investments that were probably not good for the market. Well, here we are. I mean, everybody's trying to make a few bucks in the market, right? I mean, I have gone through, I'll tell you, there's a couple of stocks I'm in right now that have just gone up thousands of percent. It's just absolutely incredible. Let me see if I can find one here this morning.
Well, and you mentioned GameStop. If anyone hasn't seen, obviously, that's almost back to normal.
But there's a tons of little stocks too. Look at KALV. K-A-K, K-A-L-V,
D or V?
V's and Victor. Up 130% today.
One day right there.
That is just a small sample of the stocks that have seen thousands of percents of return over the last few months. Take a look at what's another really good one that had just a massive run. ONTX. Look, if you started out at the bottom there, you're at 20 cents or whatever.
Order, yeah.
26. ONCG.
ONCG, not a thing.
Maybe it's ONGC.
Oil, natural gas.
No, that's not it. I thought it was ONCG.
Yes, Tom, you are late to the party, but we let the door in just at the end, so definitely catch the beginning part. But we're just checking out some crazy high flyers right now that have recently happened, and just how, this is that Robin Hood effect, whatever you want to call it, where everyone's suddenly a day trader because, and I think it's a good thing that they're talking about limiting who gets this next stimulus check, because maybe the people that make over 150,000 a year don't need it, because this is all they're doing with it, is manufacturing this market.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, ONCG.
ONCG?
Yeah.
Not a thing.
Yeah.
At least not on TradingView. Let me look on Toss.
That's weird. I have seen just some absolutely incredible moves in all of these little tiny caps, small cap stocks.
Is it a futures contract? No. Yeah, I don't see ONCG for anything.
All right, take a look at, I don't know, I got the symbols mixed up, I think.
Tom says you have to show me too much. YouTube show me much better ways to use your stimulus checks than chasing Robinhood.
Well, yeah, I know. It is pretty much insane. Here's a good one. Hold on. HTBX.
B is in Baker or D is in dog?
H is in Harry, T is in Tom, B is in boy, X. Yeah.
Bam. Did you pick all these before today?
It's just unbelievable. No, it's just unbelievable.
$5? No, $20. It's 4 times. It's 70% up right now, and it's already dropped from the top here. Yeah, we've already dropped 15, 20%, but it's still up 20%. Crazy. One thing in the news too, I do want to mention before we wrap in a few minutes, in case you guys haven't seen this, is we had a new product release yesterday by the CME. You can now trade futures on Ethereum.
Yes. And there is a video there. I didn't get to watch the entire thing, but it's like 50. Contract unit is 50 index points.
Yeah, so it's $12.50 a contract, and it's a quarter or 5 cents on the points. So that thing's going to move fast.
Yeah. And what's the they put the margin in there? The exchange.
Let's see. I did not look at the margin. Dun, 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 dun. I don't see it listed here. How about a price limiter circuit? When are they going to lock that one up? So just like we saw last year when Bitcoin futures came out, that was the way that investors, traders can hedge it. We'll see how that affects Ethereum. Just looking at, 1 day or 2 days here, we don't have much information. So I got Ethereum at the bottom to the USD. Then here's the futures contract, which just came out yesterday. So they've only traded about 300 contracts in the first day that are open interest. So it's very spotty, but we'll see if this affects the market and if that takes a turn, if people start shorting Ethereum futures or which way they go, because we're seeing Bitcoin is now threatening 50,000. It's on another little rally here. I got this one on a 1 hour chart where we had a big pump up where yesterday everyone probably saw Elon Musk was announcing he bought 1.5 billion worth, and Tesla's going to start accepting Bitcoin as payment for his cars. So he's getting inside of there. And Dave and I were joking off in the channels. It's like, I think he's filling the void of Trump not being on Twitter, where Elon's jumping in and filling that void for people and being a big voice, whether that's stocks or the market or now Bitcoin. It's an interesting position he's in.
I don't know anybody that would use their Bitcoin to buy a Tesla, though. To be honest with you,
well, at least it's better than a pizza.
Yeah, nobody wants to be that Tesla guy. Nobody wants to be the pizza guy.
You could buy that one Tesla for one Bitcoin, and then imagine when Bitcoin crashes, you say, "Look, Bitcoin's only $2,000. I got a car out of that."
Yeah. Or
says Elon is simply trying to sell more cars by enticing people. Yeah, who knows how fast he's selling them on the other side too. That's the part you don't see.
Yeah, and we should note that it wasn't Elon that bought Bitcoin. It was Tesla, the company, that bought Bitcoin.
Yeah, not him personally, right? The company.
Yeah, I mean, and actually, if he bought it personally, when he knew the company was going to buy it and then publicly announce it, it would be considered insider trading.
I was going to say that would be trouble. Yep.
So he probably didn't buy any personally, but the 1.5 billion is 7% of their total cash reserves. Ooh. That's a lot. That is a lot.
And one could say, or have an interesting conversation around the pricing of Tesla itself and how it's very, very high up there. I haven't looked recently.
So now Tesla is also a Bitcoin play. I mean, basically you could say, okay, well, Tesla is both, a car company. And you know how Tesla makes all their money? Carbon credits. They sell the carbon credits because they're a green company. So they're not making money on cars, guys. They don't make money on cars. They make money on the carbon credits. The cars don't make anything.
Yeah, there's no margin in there for them.
Yeah. So now, I mean, who knows what his motivation is for buying Bitcoin? It could be to boost the stock of the company, because there is no other catalyst. I mean, and I think I heard the other day too that China had sued Tesla, not him personally, but Tesla, for anti-competitive behavior or something. I don't know what it was, but
interesting.
Yeah.
So that's the crypto news for the week. Is Ethereum futures are out and Bitcoin's going crazy.
Yeah, I don't know if he's just trying to get the stock to go up because everybody's into Bitcoin or whatever, and now you don't have to buy Bitcoin; you just buy Tesla stock.
What was that other car you sent me? What was the name of that?
Oh, the Lucid.
Oh, you guys need to see
Lucid. Yeah. Oh, wait till you see this thing. If you haven't seen this one, this is pretty incredible. If anything's nothing's gonna kill Tesla. Tesla, I think, will be around for a long time. But Lucid Air, this thing is insane. Check out
this video if you haven't seen it yet. There's a couple YouTube videos out there.
Yeah, lucidmotors.com. Go check it out. 517 miles. The batteries are so powerful in this car, you could power your house for a week. You could, yeah. You don't need a generator anymore. You just plug in your car to your house.
So this could be some good competition for him. So I like seeing that. You need to have more than one game in town, right?
Mm-hmm.
0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds. Yeah, how many G-forces is that? You're gonna hurt people pretty soon. 1,000 horsepower. I love it.
Yeah, 1,000 horsepower.
And look at these seats.
Yeah.
These back seats like recline.
Yeah, they recline.
They got 3 versions. You got the Touring, you got the Grand Touring, and you got the Pure.
Yeah. And the trunk space is gigantic, and the front space. You got front space and you have trunk space.
Yeah, what do you call it? A frunk?
Yeah, frunk. Yeah.
I never heard that before in my life.
Yeah, that is pretty funny. But it's a pretty insane car. Actually, I mean, I'd love to get one, but it's like,
Well, at those prices, you can get 2 of the airs. You just get 2 pures for 70, or 1 decked out one for 131.
Yeah.
480 horse, 800 horse. Well, this one's not coming out till next year, but this one's going to be this summer.
Yeah, they're already in production on that one.
That is a hot car.
You go watch the video, guys. There's so much more to it than just what we said. It's
For
it's
sure.
amazing.
Yeah, we're not doing it justice. Definitely check that out. It could be next time.
That's right.
Here's some things about people leaving and making competition. So this guy made it came from Tesla. Who knows?
Yes, Isham is correct. It was Tesla's chief engineer that did the design on it. Yep.
Sham's already got one too. Good job, Sham.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice car.
All right, with that, we're a few minutes over, but that's all good. It's fun with you guys and showing you some fun things, not just always trading. So appreciate you guys joining us, and we'll catch you back here on Thursday for another trading room. And I think we on deck for a VXX call tomorrow, Dave.
Absolutely.
All right, I got a couple of questions. Check your email. I shot you one that had a few interesting questions from traders that I think people in the VXX will be very interested to see. So watch for that tomorrow. And as always, the recordings will be up for the members.
All right, guys, have a great day. Yep, absolutely, BD.
Take it easy, Dave.
Bye.